Germany was now completely disarmed, and she had been damaged on all sides and had no way of defending herself. At any moment could her neighbors decide to attack her. Because of the enormous reparation costs to be paid in gold, there was no longer any backing for the mark. This led to inflation, which totally wiped out all the German savings. Germany in 1922-23 faced the most horrific hyperinflation the world has ever seen, and the German mark became worthless. Unemployment, hunger, and a hopeless future distinguished the Weimar Republic to the German people. Suicide rates were high. Unemployment topped 30% as desperate Germans committed suicide. Birth rates were extremely low. Anarchy and chaos was in the air. There was nothing the disarmed, humiliated, and hungry German people could do about it, as communists even seized parts of many cities. In 1929, the Federal Reserve caused the Great Depression. The researcher Boris Borisov, in his article titled "The American Famine," estimated the victims of the financial crisis in the US at over 7 million people. The globalist powers had now managed to orchestrate yet another famine that killed millions of white Europeans like in Russia before. Ben Bernanke said regarding the Great Depression, "We did it." By we, Bernanke of course meant the Jewish leaders of the Federal Reserve System. Back in Germany, the effects of the engineered stock market crash was even worse than in any other country, as the life savings of the people were wiped out as prices doubled every 2 days for 20 straight months.
In 1922, inflation was spiraling wildly out of control. People would be paid in the morning and have suitcasefuls of banknotes, and they would have to then run to the shops because in the time between being paid and the time when they bought their goods, their food, the prices would have risen. Berlin was in a state of total chaos. Hundreds of thousands of dispossessed, starving in the streets, and at the same time, you had very rich people. So you got on the one hand, the poor eating turnip soup, the butchers selling crows, squirrels, even rats, and on the other side, people who could afford it eating the most sumptuous meals like they never paused for thought.
The Germans had to pay 2 to 20 billion marks for a single postage stamp. A loaf of bread cost 2 billion marks. A pound of butter cost 2 trillion marks. The German middle class was the worst hit and saw all their savings and businesses being destroyed. Starving families and their children begged on the streets. Many Germans refer to their devalued money as Judefetzen, Jewish confetti. Because whilst the Germans were starving, the Jewry lived their golden luxury life in the Republic. Germany was totally bankrupt in the end of 1929. The Jewish statistician Alfred Marcus estimated the average Jewish income for 1930 as 3 times the average income for the rest of the population.